Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of eXhuming the X-Files here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. If you're listening to this, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell because every Friday we do what, Jeremy?
We talk about another episode of the X-Files.
Yeah, and we are slowly making our way through the entire series. We are into Season 5, and I was actually halfway. By the time we finish recording today, we'll be over halfway through Season 5. And I was actually thinking about this last night when I was watching the first couple episodes, and I was like, this feels like it's going a lot quicker than I would have expected. It's like we're almost done with Season 5 already. Does it feel like it's going quick for you, or do you feel like this is a long haul we still got to?
Oh, no, not really. Like, it was kind of rough there for some spots, 4 episodes straight in Season 4. And I guess early on in this season, it was kind of that way. But when you get a couple, a few, 3, 4 episodes that are really good, it just flies by.
For sure. And this episode does not fly by. We're talking about, I think it's pronounced schizogeny. Schizogeny, whatever. This is Killer Trees is essentially what this episode is. It is episode 9 of season 5, directed by Ralph Hemmicker, written by Jessica Scott and Mike Walliger. And I had no recollection of this one at all from my childhood. Did you have any recollection of it?
No, not at all, thankfully.
Yeah. I think this is, we don't want to bury the lead. This episode sucks, but let's go ahead and dive right in. So what happens here in the cold open of Schizogeny?
It starts with some kid playing PlayStation. Some teenager, mid to late teenager, playing PlayStation while listening to not Marilyn Manson. And then his mom is like trying to get his attention. And his mom kind of looked like an older Dana Scully. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, kinda. Now you mentioned that, yeah.
And then his dad comes home after dark and is just immediately mad at him at 10 p.m. for playing video games. Instead of, I guess, working at 10 p.m. at night, filling in a dirt hole in their front yard.
I have witnessed being with a friend sort of late at night when a father figure comes in angry. I've witnessed that before. I bought it.
You have. And he decides that, my son, this son of mine's just lazy. He didn't put away my tools outside, so he's going to go outside and finish this huge hole in the front yard at 10:15 at night problem. And they go out there, and he's yelling at him, kinda. He's getting underneath his skin, and the son, the son's gonna kill him with a shovel, menaces him for a little bit.
Get away from me!
And then totally pushes out, drops the shovel, and then just runs off into the woods. The woods of Canada that we see over and over and over again. As he's running around, he sees some dude, or a flash of some dude standing there with an axe, kind of looking scary in the dark at 10:15 at night, but runs away from him. And then his dad's chasing him and just yelling, Bobby, 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 over and over and over.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. Nobody yells their kid's name this much. Except for this guy.
Yeah.
Finally, the mom, we stop hearing the dad yell. The mom starts running out into the woods, yelling for Bobby just as frequently as dad was. And she finds her son trying to grab his stepdad out of the ground because he's being sucked into a big mud patty like it's quicksand.
Yeah.
Then right as it finishes him getting sucked under, you get the title screen.
Sucked. Terrible.
There was some promise to this episode.
No.
Sorta.
No. I watched this one last night, and as soon as this ended, that cold open ended, I was like, this is going to be awful. That was my first thought, and I wrote it down on my notes. This episode is going to be awful. This cold open, that kid playing, was it Bobby Rich? I think this is what his name is. He was so insufferable. Like I wanted to just punch this kid in the face. I'm just like, this guy's getting sucked down to like quicksand in this weird orchard. No, no, I did not like this at all. Nope, nope, no, sir, I
Good.
didn't like it.
No, sir, I didn't like it. So after the title screen, for some reason, Scully is doing the autopsy on this guy. Like, we're not even throwing up the pretense anymore of why Mulder and Scully show up to these things. They're just there now. She digs, what is it, 12 pounds or something like that of mud out of this guy's like
Yeah,
digestive tract and stuff. So Mulder makes a mud pie joke.
yeah.
Like, okay, all right, maybe this will be sprinkled throughout with Mulder jokes, and it will make it tolerable. It is sprinkled throughout very thoroughly with Mulder jokes. But that I remember being the last good one.
Doesn't make it tolerable. I like at this point you're still holding out hope. I'm long gone. I'm like this episode's over.
Scully thinks the step kid did it. She thinks that she set up some sort of trap, buried him in 5 minutes. She sees the like rope burns around the dad's ankles, and it's like, yeah, this kid did it. But right off the rip, Mulder he never changes his mind from like the first. He makes the mud pie joke, and then he already knows what happens the rest of the episode.
Yeah. What was kind of cool is we're going to talk in a few episodes about the episode Bad Blood. And I was thinking about this episode while I was watching that episode, because that episode's kind of like a meta commentary on how Mulder and Scully see these things. And it flashed me back to this. I was like, oh, yes, this is exactly how that episode kind of like, sort of like the hyperbolic sort of way that we kind of think of Mulder and Scully and how they just jump to conclusions or don't, and vice versa. I was like, that was kind of cool. But we'll get there in a few episodes for Bad Blood.
We're ready. We're so done with this episode. Yeah. We're ready to talk about number 4.
Yes.
I feel you. So they try to grill the kid and his mom to find, and they're trying to figure out if there's evidence of abuse from the stepfather. Like, is there a motive for the kid having done this? And they go visit the hole that they used a backhoe to dig the guy out of. Mulder immediately just jumps down in the hole, no safety gear.
Yeah.
Doing Mulder stuff. And Scully sees the menacing guy with the axe. And she's just like, hi! And then he walks off.
Yeah. Of course, Mulder misses it all because he's struggling to get out of that hole.
Bobby goes to school, immediately targets in on this girl he clearly likes, and he's like, I stood up for myself. You know, he plays this edgelord kind of dude, and I think maybe this might be why you hate him so much, because we all knew a couple of guys that were like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he gets bullied, and he's like, he tells the bully, like, maybe I'll kill you too, in front of the girl to try to impress her, and she's just not.
Yeah.
Interested.
The girl, by the way, is Catherine Isabel. For all you horror aficionados out there, she, of course, is most famous for being in Ginger Snaps, but she was also in Freddy vs. Jason. She's a very, very popular horror scream queen of the early aughts.
Huh. I knew I recognized her from somewhere. I just didn't know where it was. So, Bobby's sped teacher invites the FBI to her home, and she's dressed like she's going to court. But she has dirt all over her loafers for some reason that Mulder notices. And she's tracking it all over the house.
A lot of mud in these episodes.
Yeah. Is mud the new sweat?
Oh. Oh. Leave a comment, folks. Is mud the new sweat?
Eventually, like, Lisa, the girl, Bobby's love interest, is walking out in the middle of nowhere after dark. Like, that's another thing. Why does nothing ever happen in the show during the day?
Well, it's spookier at night.
I get it, but she's going home from school, unless she had detention all fucking day. Like she's walking out in the middle of the country and Bobby pulls up in his truck and she just cannot show a lack of interest enough to communicate it to Bobby that she's just not interested. And he's like acting all edgelordy and tough. It's like, yeah, well, your dad's doing it to you too, so you just got to do what I did. Be brave and just stand up to him. And then, sure enough, her dad was staring through the window, like breathing heavy or something. And she goes inside and she's like, who the fuck was that? What are you talking to boys for? I guess it was like to make us not like him that much.
Yeah, I felt like when I watched it, like he knows Bobby is kind of like not the kind of guy he'd want his daughter hanging around, and so I think he's just kind of that protective dad. Like obviously, when we watch this, would we want our daughters, to hang out with Bobby? The answer is no.
I mean,
so I can understand what
from the outset, like his image that he throws off, probably not. But the real Bobby, the Bobby who's too afraid to do anything, the Bobby who's too afraid to like probably touch a girl when it really comes down to it, because he'll just start shaking and then he'll run into the lake or something. Yes. The closest thing to my daughter dating a girl that I would get in a
fair.
So the dad goes upstairs and just starts getting in his daughter's ass. Like you don't. Oh well, not.
Whoa! What episode were you watching?
Yeah. I switched it. No, and he's just like, you're not gonna date that loser. You're not gonna see this boy anymore. I don't want to see. And she gets up and she gets real mad at him. She's like, I'll do whatever I want to, Dad. She's not a good actress in this movie.
No.
But she, and then she just kind of runs around him and slams the door of her own room with him in it. And then the dad walks over to the window. He sees Bobby's truck still parked outside, creepy, still parked on the highway. And then he gets suddenly like hit with a ballista through the window and sucked out the window. Like, I didn't know what happened in 480p. All I know is he was there. And it looked like he got stabbed with something. He got pulled out.
Yeah.
So
that's what it looked like in high def too. It was
bad. They're investigating the next day. Mulder's pointing out that the evidence looks like he was pushed out the window. They did find out that they were arguing about Bobby. Find out that Bobby was sitting outside. So this is further cementing Scully's like, yeah, the kid did it, and whatever Mulder figured out in the first 5 minutes of the episode. And then for some reason the sped teacher is talking to Lisa. Like Bobby's sped teacher.
Yeah.
And Mulder's already convinced that Bobby has nothing to do with this. We'll listen to no evidence otherwise. And then they go to his classroom to pull him out of the classroom. They would have sent like a teacher's aide or the principal or, somebody. They're not going to walk into his classroom and give Bobby that moment where he's like, the FBI wants me.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and play it tough and play it cool. And like Scully totally feeds into it. It was such a lame ass scene. But,
it's a lame ass episode, so.
Sure. And what they sit him down in a classroom. Scully starts grilling him. Mulder disappears, reappears at the coroner's office to see that, he visits the coroner and points out something that the coroner didn't see, instead of just letting Scully do the autopsy like she did earlier for no reason. And then he teleports back to the school almost immediately while Scully is still basically asking question number 3 or 4 with an empty bag. And he holds it up and says, what did he say? It was some smart comment that Mulder made at him about it being evidence.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember. It was still lame. It wasn't anyway.
Yeah, he does make some sort of yeah, he does. I thought he just said something like evidence or like the way he delivered it or something to the person. I don't know. It's stupid. Who cares?
And then they go back out to what's her face, Lisa's house, and Mulder makes a boyish agility joke. Now, this
Oh
is something
man.
that I've noticed. I saw him do it, and I really didn't pay attention. But he does it later in this episode, where he's required to like sneak or crawl or do something. He does not climb a tree like somebody who is an avid tree climber.
Oh
He
yeah.
doesn't move like an athletic guy at all.
Yeah, it does not look like he's ever climbed a tree in his life.
Ever.
It's and then he makes that joke to Scully. He's like, "Hey, is my boyish whatever like turning you on?" I was like, "What?" Like it just came out of nowhere. And I was like, that's just an odd thing to say out of the blue to Scully when this is the first tree you've ever climbed in your life and you look awful doing it. No,
Mhm.
you're not turning anyone on, David Duchovny. Go learn how to fucking climb a tree properly.
And then he leaves it like he goes up there, and Scully is immediately cornered by the foreigner with the axe,
Yeah.
who's the Lorax. I guess I'm just gonna call him the Lorax. He never really fucking identified himself, but he starts talking about, yes, the trees were dying, and then this guy 20 years ago was a very bad man, and he I guess killed himself to save the trees.
Something like that.
It's a
Yeah.
stupid story.
Now I have a movie script I'm writing. I can't say the name of it, but it involves apple orchards. And as I was watching this episode, I'm like, I'm not going to do anything like this in my script because this is so terrible how they're kind of explaining all of this. And yeah, there's something about like the orchard is dying. There's something like when Mulder finds like the splinter in the neck of that dude who I guess that's part of the
The
apple
guy that got
or the yeah, I don't know if
ballisted.
they're
I don't know.
apple orchard. Like, what kind of trees were they? I don't even remember if they said, are they apple orchards
Nah,
or
they just
what?
said the orchard.
Okay, yeah, we don't even know what they are, but they're all dying, and it's all stupid. None of it makes any sense. God damn it, none of it makes any sense.
And somebody's like, yeah, well, we'll talk about it here and there, but it's not really that important.
No.
Or is it? I don't
I don't know what this episode is about. Leave a comment down below if you know what this episode is about, because I just watched it and I have no idea what I was watching. Makes no sense.
And then it cuts to, for some reason, Lisa, Bobby's would-be girlfriend, is like staying at the sped teacher's house.
Yeah, because she's like, watching over her or something to make sure nothing bad happens to her. Because doesn't the sped teacher or somebody like, I don't know, was she a therapist or a teacher? I don't even know. But doesn't she say like Lisa is being abused or something like that? So I thought she was just trying to like quote unquote protect her, or that's what she was trying to put forward to people as she's protecting her from her family, like her dad or something.
See, yes, she is technically like a therapist who's was talking to Bobby and trying to get him to stand up for himself, trying to talk to Lisa and who knows how many other kids. But when they first introduce her, they don't say any of that. And she just immediately starts talking about Bobby's problems. So I thought she
Yeah.
was a sped teacher because Bobby comes across that way.
I mean, maybe, yeah, I could see that.
And so, for some reason, Lisa is not satisfied with just going to bed, so she starts like creeping around in the house, and she sees a bunch of mud prints because Karen, who ends up being named Karen, just tracks fucking mud in her house all over the place. So she follows it. She goes downstairs. She gets to the bottom of the staircase, and you remember how squishy that mud was?
Yeah.
She stepped on it. Like if your basement was that wet, your whole house is just mold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's gross. Is she walking around like in her socks or something too,
Yeah.
or something? It's just like, oh god, put on some shoes or something.
But for you freaks out there that like that sort of thing, mud kind of squishing up between sock covered women's feet, this episode
Oh yeah,
is for you.
we don't kink shame here. Well,
Well,
sometimes we do.
so she sees a dead body in the basement, like kind of rooted into the wall. Well, what I assume was rooted into the wall in bad 480p VHS rip. I saw a skull.
Yeah, it's kind of in the roots and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I should take a screenshot of that and send it to you. It's pretty good. But then all of a sudden she starts hearing this drag queen voice upstairs. And that drag queen voice is saying really hateful, kind of abusive shit to nobody in particular. And then what is it? She gets shut in the basement.
Yeah, it's locked down there.
And then Lisa's aunt shows up that she's supposed to be staying with and knocks on the door. Karen's like, nah, she went to a bus station or something.
Yeah.
And oh god, kid breaks out a window, calls her aunt over. Her aunt's like, what are you doing down there? She says it exactly like that. I'm like, you're gonna get killed and you deserve it. And she did by roots.
Yeah, like her head just kind of like gets yanked through the
glass
window and glass window, and it's just like it, and then she's dead just like that. And I'm like, God.
And nobody really genuinely reacts to that through the rest of the episode.
No, they cut back to that shot later on, and we see her, but yeah, it's like nobody gives a shit that this woman is dead, and no one's even bothering to like get her body out of the glass window. She's just permanently going to reside there. That's where she is buried, head through the glass in the basement, and they're just going to leave her body there. Forever.
To keep her father's skeleton company.
So
because then the FBI shows up at Karen's house, walks into the house, walks down into the basement, sees the father's skeleton of whom I still really cannot see, and Mulder leaps to the conclusion that she is both the killer and the victim. Then all of a sudden they hear a car drive off, and we see the lamest car chase ever, where Mulder chases a Dodge Neon in a Mercury Sable at about 35 miles an hour. Thankfully, he wasn't wearing a seatbelt when his car is suddenly attacked by a tree, or he would have been impaled. And then he gets out of the passenger seat and does this, like, he just jungle gyms his way through the tree to the other side. Like, I would have gone back to the fucking farmhouse, but he climbs through it. And that's it. That's when I saw it. He's like, the athleticism on display as he bumblefucks through this collapsed tree. It's like, wow. They should have let him practice.
They should have got a stunt double is what they should have done. Someone who could actually do it and make it look believable.
A stunt double to
yeah.
Some tree climb.
Sorry, David. You're going to like just be off to the side here. We're going to bring in Stunt David Duchovny to actually make it so that the audience can believe that you're making it through this tree.
Slowly making your way.
So absurd.
And Karen keeps driving. She goes out to Bobby's house and chases him into woods in a mirror of the chase scene from the pre-title screen. Bobby tries acting for the first time in this episode with the help of his finger, saying, "No, you..." I don't even remember what he said. I just remember he turned around and pointed at her. And then Karen uses her drag queen root powers to start to mud suck Bobby into the ground.
Mud suck. It's a good name for a band. We are Mudsuck.
Mudsuck. Mulder shows up and tries to start, instead of just gunning Karen down, just grabs onto Bobby and he's like, "No, Karen, don't do this. You don't want to do this." As he starts getting himself into the same problem. Then suddenly the Axeman from earlier shows up, straight up beheads Karen. And that's the end.
Yeah, he just walks off. He says something like, "Now it's finished. And he
Don't
walks
say
out like, why didn't you just do that, like, I don't know, 40 minutes ago? Like, it's like a Deus Ex Machina. He just shows up out of the blue and decapitates this chick.
He
Oh
just
my
hangs out in the orchard. He never leaves it.
yeah. This episode. All right. So what'd you think of this one?
My last line is I wrote, I understand what they were trying to communicate in this episode about abuse and standing up for yourselves, but it was delivered so poorly that I actually hated it.
Yeah, it's bad. Okay, well, my thoughts were I hated it as well. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this. It's killer trees that somehow, I mean, we have like that big flashback sequence, right? Of the dude who died like 20 years ago for the orchard, or was he was on a boat, right? Was that the one with the boat? Yeah.
No.
No, that's the next episode. See, I'm getting these fucking things. God, I'm getting
Was he
these
on a boat? Yeah, there's a doll and then a tree.
that's the next shitty one. God, I'm getting like I watched both of this episode and the next episode back to back last night, and it was so bad because I was like, oh, I'll just power through. I'll watch all four. Last night, I had to stop after the next episode. I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm finishing the other two tomorrow.
Break.
And look forward to that next week, folks, when we talk about a Stephen King episode. By the way,
I knew it.
I was so excited when I saw his name pop up. Oh, sweet, Stephen King.
I didn't see his name in 480p, but I saw Tack from Desperation and I was excited, and then it turned into poop. But I was excited for a minute.
Yeah, that's a Stephen King episode. I think it's called Chinga or whatever. But anyway, back to Killer Tree. This is like, did you ever see that M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Happening? With the killer trees.
God. Oh man.
This is like that. This is like the X-Files version of that movie. It's so bad. They should have just ripped this script up, and I mean, I would have preferred one less episode this season than to have to suffer through this. This was 44 minutes of like pure unadulterated tedium. Like I don't even have words to describe. I mean, spoiler alert, this is gonna show up on my top 5 most hated episodes this season. I have nothing good to say about it at all. So let's talk some fun facts. You want to talk some fun facts, Jeremy?
Do you?
SCHIZOGENY was written by Jessica Scott and Mike Walliger, their first episode for the series. Due to it being Scott and Walliger's first episode, SCHIZOGENY took a long time to write, and really. And according to executive producer Frank Sponitz, quote, went through many, many incarnations and versions, unquote. Due to the episode's plot and setting, it became sardonically known as, quote, the Killer Tree episode, unquote, among the cast and crew. The episode's title is a biological term for the creation of cavities by separating out existing cells. What? Catherine Isabel, who portrayed Lisa, was the daughter of Graham Murray, the production designer for The X-Files. We got a little nepotism in acting there. Kate Robbins, who played Lisa's Aunt Linda, had previously appeared in the 3rd season episode DPO. Chad Lindbergh was cast as Bobby Rich, and when the episode was being edited, there was worry that his delivery was not pronounced enough, so many of his lines were later dubbed in a studio. See, this explains even more why I hated this guy. He was so bad. His act, because I was like, this guy's a horrible actor. What's going on? Well, now he had to dub all of his lines after the fact. Ugh. And I did notice this. David Duchovny, too, was required to overdub a line. During the scene in which Mulder tells Scully Bobby's nickname, Duchovny originally said dickweed. Fox's Standards and Practices Department objected to the term and made the show change the name to dorkweed. And Alyssa and I were watching this last night, and when David Duchovny says it, you can see he says dickweed, and then you just see this horrible dub of dorkweed, and we were like, oh, wow, why did they do that? Well, The more you know, folks. While much of Schizogeny was filmed on a real orchard named Hazel Grove Farms near Fort Langley, British Columbia, the sinking mud scenes were shot on a soundstage at Lionsgate Studios that was fitted with over 200 hazelnut trees. The mud pit was made out of a large tank filled with soil, sphagnum, moss, and water. The mixture was heated so that the actors would not be cold while filming. Well, that was very nice, considerate. The shot that called for Karen Matthews' lifeless body to sink into the mud required a stunt woman to be slowly lowered into the pit, which necessitated the crew supplying her with oxygen, given how deep that the tank was. Toby Lindahl and his art department created all of the props used in the episode, including the moving tree roots and the corpse of Karen Matthews' father. Several of the shooting locations were chosen because of their proximity to large trees. Lisa's house, for instance, was next to a large willow, which was fitted with a fake tree limb 20 feet long to give it a more menacing feel. Did you get any sense that these trees were menacing at all?
No, I didn't really even see the trees. Like, what was it? Poltergeist 1 that had that tree that grabbed that kid?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever reached that?
No.
No.
The tree limb that attacks Mulder's car was a branch from a tree that had broken off and fallen on government land. The producers secured permission from the Canadian government to retrieve the branch and then hoisted it into the air before dropping it onto a retired police car. I love that they had to ask the Canadian government if they could use a broken tree branch. That's kind of hilarious to me. After the stunt, Nigel Habgood, the series car coordinator, refurbished the car, and it was later reused in the episode Kill Switch, which we will talk about in a couple weeks. Mark Snow, a composer for the series, was particularly proud of the music he wrote for the episode, which he felt completed the dark, wonderful aura of the episode. He credits the ominous feel of his final soundtrack to his use of synthesized woodwind instruments. Yeah, there you go, folks. Those are the fun facts. Any fun facts in there, Jeremy, that particularly stand out to you?
No.
I mean, the episode's not fun. The facts aren't fun. Nothing about this is fun. It's awful. But maybe you disagree with us, folks. If you do, leave a comment down below. Let us know.
Yeah, let us have it. Tell us how awful we are.
Yes, review us, right? All these people made this episode. They put a lot of hard work and time in it. It turned out like shit. Sometimes we put a lot of hard work and time into these episodes, and they turn out like shit as well. Let us know. Let us know down below. Let us know down below. With that, we're done. We're signing off on this one. We'll see you next Friday with the next episode, the wonderful Stephen King episode. I think it's called Chinga. And I actually looked that up, and I think it's like a slur.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chinga tu madre? Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Well, we'll save it for next week. Goodbye, everybody.